Translation, please also describe the expansions of different sacrifices and the paths of mystic powers, analytical study of knowledge and devotional service, or with their respective regulations. Purport: the word tantram is significant herein. Sometimes tantram is misunderstood to be the black spiritual science of materialistic persons engaged in sense gratification. But here, tantram means the science of devotional service compiled by Srila Narada Muni. One can take advantage of such regulative explanations of the path of devotional service and make progressive advancement in the devotional service of the Lord. Sankhya philosophy is the basic principle of acquiring knowledge, as will be explained by the sage Maitreya. The Sankhya philosophy enunciated by Kapila, the son of Devahuti, is the real source of knowledge about the Supreme Truth. Knowledge not based on the Sankhya philosophy is mental speculation and can yield no tangible profit. Yajñasya cha vitanani yogasya cha pataha prabhu naiskamyasya cha sankhyasya tantram va bhagavat smitam. Please also describe the expansions of different sacrifices and the paths of mystic powers, analytical study of knowledge and devotional service, all with their respective regulations. Any questions? No? No. Definitely not. He also doesn't have. You understood anything of all this? No.
I think I understand it all, yes.
Okay. So then you should also have some questions.
If I understand it, I have to have some questions. What is this for?
Yeah. That is a sign of attentive listening.
I know this principle in ISKCON. You have to share.
Mm.
You know it or not. But I'm not there now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I'll read a little more. So. Text 30.
You have something later when you have to say something to ask you about.
Yeah, but I will read a little more. Text 31. Pashanda pata vaishamyam pratiloma niveshanam jivasya ghatayo yascha yavatiya guna karma jaha. Pasanda pata, the path of the faithless, vaishamyam, imperfection by contradiction, pratiloma, crossbreeding, niveshanam, situation, jivasya, of the living entities, gatayaha, movements, yaha, as they are, cha, also, yavatihi, as many as, guna, modes of material nature, karma jaha, generated by different work. Translation, please also describe the imperfections and contradictions of the faithless atheists, the situation of crossbreeding, and the movements of the living entities in various species of life, according to their particular modes of nature and work. But the combination of living entities in different modes of material nature is called crossbreeding. The faithless atheists do not believe in the existence of God, and thus their paths of philosophy are contradictory. Atheistic philosophies never agree with one another. Different species of life are evidence of varieties of mixtures of the modes of material nature. Yeah. So there is a variety of points being made here in these verses. And in fact, this is Vidura asking questions to Maitreya. And he has a lot of questions about many different things. His questions, they show that he has a lot of knowledge. He is very much aware of different aspects of Krishna's greatness, of the intricacies of Krishna's creation, and probably more aware than we will ever become. So much so that we may also be a little in the clouds about what is he talking about at all. But some little hints of what is this all about, some little idea maybe there. He says here in the first verse, please also describe the expansions of different sacrifices. That's one question. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita also describes different sacrifices. Many different kinds of sacrifices actually are described in Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita is a kind of overview of, the whole human civilization. Human civilization means Vedic civilization. All other so-called civilizations, they are just perversions or dim reflections of the real human civilization, which is Vedic civilization. So, in order for a civilization to be accepted as worthy of the name of a civilization, there has to be the culture of sacrifice. What is sacrifice? I'm asking you, what is sacrifice? Can you? Yeah, that's the translation, or that's a synonym for sacrifice, you can say. But we get a sense of what it is, because, to sacrifice, to make a sacrifice, that's something which I think most people, they get the idea. It means that you, even in chess, they speak about sacrifices, making a sacrifice. It means that you give up something without apparent gaining anything in return. I sacrificed my queen, so I didn't get, I didn't get any pieces of the opponent in return for that queen sacrifice. So therefore it's a sacrifice. Otherwise we talk about an exchange. I think that's the word. If there's no exchange, if it's simply I give up and I don't get anything in return, then it's a sacrifice, at least in chess terminology. And I think the same general understanding applies here also, that the sacrifice means that an activity which is not a business exchange, it is voluntarily giving up some wealth or giving some time, giving some energy for something which is not selfishly motivated, which is not motivated by the idea of some immediate gain. So, why on earth would we do that? Well, the understanding is that it is our duty to work in a unselfish way for some higher purpose. Basically, as it is said, yajña vai Vishnu. Sacrifice is meant for the pleasure of Vishnu, Krishna. Now in the Vedic culture there are different kinds of sacrifices which are also meant for the pleasure of various demigods. It's called Deva Yajna, technically. So, and maybe the performer sometimes, because of incomplete knowledge, they think, yeah, that's what the sacrifice is for. It's for such and such demigod. And maybe there is some hidden idea, some ulterior purpose of that. If I make a sacrifice to this demigod, I will have certain desires fulfilled. But that's a little perversion, actually. Those who have proper knowledge, Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita also, that actually all sacrifices, they are meant for his pleasure. Maybe by the way of satisfying some inferior authority, such as some demigod. But they are simply Krishna's representatives. So whatever we offer to them, they will pass it on to Krishna. We may not, the sacrificer, we may not understand this, but if the sacrifice is properly performed, I mean, it actually goes to that demigod, then it will be passed on to Vishnu or Krishna, and this thus unknown to the performer of the sacrifice. Sometimes he would actually be indirectly serving the Lord. But as Krishna says, out of the many sacrifices, the best sacrifice is the sacrifice which is performed in knowledge. So Yeah, it's a big topic, but we can summarize it by stating that what Prabhupada points out again and again for our benefit, that in this age, the main sacrifice is Sankirtan-yajña, the sacrifice of chanting the holy names of the Lord. What is the sacrifice? The sacrifice is that we don't get anything out of this chanting. We are spending some time. We are taking some time off to glorify the Lord by way of chanting His name. We are making various arrangements so that this can take place, and the chanting process itself is also a way of expending our energy. And what do we get out of it? It's not good for economy, at least not directly. There is no direct. We don't get a salary. It doesn't. At least immediately, there is no. It's not that we pay our bills in this way, or we get some food on our plate. Unlike, if we go and we work and we get a paycheck, and then all these things can be accomplished. By this chanting, this is not directly productive in this way. It's simply to make Krishna happy. That should be the idea. So in this way, it's a sacrifice, and it's a very simple sacrifice. It's a very inexpensive sacrifice, unlike other sacrifices which were performed at great expense in previous ages. But this is what we can do, and Krishna accepts it. He understands our predicament, and if we try to satisfy him with whatever means it's at our command, he appreciates. He understands our limitations, and unlike others who may not understand, sometimes we make an endeavor, and because of our limitations, maybe the result is not so impressive. And sometimes, we may find that people, they criticize us, they complain because of that, because they don't understand, that this is what we can do. They don't consider our situation, our limitations. Sometimes it's a cause of suffering, depression, that we try so hard to do something and there's no appreciation. People, they think, why didn't you do more? You should have done more than that. And then we think, like there's a saying in Danish, "Utag af verdensløn." Ingratitude is the salary of the world. Yeah, so sometimes it's like that. But Krishna is not like that. He is grateful. He appreciates the sincerity of purpose of the devotee. If he simply tries his best to do something for the Lord's pleasure, Krishna appreciates that sincerity, that endeavor. So that's the good news. Others may not appreciate, but Krishna will appreciate. And that's important to remember. And we should be satisfied with that. Sometimes we are after we want to be appreciated, and that becomes the motive for our activities. Yes, we are working hard, but we certainly expect that people shall praise us for what we have been doing. And if that is not there, we become discouraged. Sometimes it's like that. But we should not be discouraged. We should be happy that Krishna appreciates what we are doing, even if nobody else appreciates. And that should be our salary. Just like what is saying something. Where was I just recently? I don't remember. But yeah, there was some statement by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur that Krishna's love is my salary. That's my payment for my devotional service. So that should be. We simply want to make Krishna happy. We simply want to see that Krishna is satisfied, and we want, of course, it's natural. We want also to feel Krishna's reciprocation. That's the way of loving exchanges. You do something for the beloved, and the beloved does something in return. So we want that loving reciprocation from Krishna. But even if it's apparently not there, we will also not become discouraged, like Lord Chaitanya is expressing in his śravaṇa-kīrtana prayers, that even the last verse says that even if there's no reciprocation, or even if there is contrary, even if Krishna is apparently showing ingratitude, the devotee will also not become discouraged. He will continue to worship the Lord, to serve the Lord under any and all circumstances. He has faith that Krishna may test him by not reciprocating, but eventually Krishna will reciprocate. That's also a test of that we trust Krishna, that he's not ungrateful. And if we simply continue doing our part, then rest assured, Krishna will pick us up. He will embrace us. He will shower his mercy upon us in so many ways that we cannot anticipate. We should trust the Lord in that way. Okay. Hare Krishna.